F1 24 driver career mode for season 3, round number 4, the Monaco Grand Prix. Yes, we are back in Monaco for the first time since season 1, where last time out I think we were leading the race at one point and then we got screwed over by, from what I remember, Nico Hulkenberg, and we ended up losing out in that one. Of course, last race in Imola we were in second, and then Leclerc had a mechanical failure from the lead. We got into the lead and then instantly had a mechanical failure of our own. So we're hoping to do better this time. To at least score some points would be nice here in Monaco. And I am, I want to stay in this fight. So we have got to go for a good result here. So being the top car in R&D, we actually lost an upgrade coming into this one, but I think we then put another upgrade on anyway, so it didn't really change our performance at all. We are still right at the top. Interestingly, Mercedes have actually overtaken Ferrari as the 4th fastest car now, so very interesting considering how Leclerc is doing in that Ferrari when I don't think it's ever been the quickest car, but of course he won the championship last season. I don't think he's leading the championship anymore now. I think Verstappen now leads the championship in the Red Bull after Leclerc's retirement last time out. But, he's still doing a very good job. And as we're in Q1 here in Monaco, seeing how we can do now, for some stupid reason, bottom right there, every time, it happens every now and again, every time one of the tyres goes up a percentage in wear, that pops up. It really annoying on that lap. Did kind of, I think, screw me over a little bit. We ended up almost 6/10 behind first place, but we are fairly easily through to Q2. Big shock though, Carlos Sainz P20 in the Ferrari. I do not know what happened to him in Q1 there. He does not put a lap on the board to get him out of Q1. He is in dead last for this Monaco Grand Prix. That is not where you want to be, especially for this race. So a big shock there, no real surprises other than that though, as we're now in Q2 and we're trying to get through this race a little bit quicker here. And as you can see, purple through sector 2 there on the bottom left, really pushing here in Monaco. Of course, Monaco, a track that I don't think I've ever won here. Like I said, last time out we were pretty close to winning, but unfortunately lost out thanks to Hulkenberg screwing us over. We go quickest there, not quickest in the end, but we are less than a 10th behind Verstappen, who is in P1, Norris P2, so the Red Bull's looking quick. Another bit of a shock out in Q2, Sergio Perez, my teammate, out in Q2, which means we're going to out-qualify him, I think, for the first time this season, and both Hasses are into Q3. Haas have not scored a point yet this season. So this is a big opportunity for them, with this being Monaco, the hardest place to overtake on the calendar. Both their drivers will be starting in the top 10, so that could be very big for the Haas team as we get underway on our flying lap here in Q3. Currently sitting P4 after the first set of flying laps. Put that down to P5 as people are going quicker that were behind us, but we are purple through the first sector. We've had a very good first sector here, and I am pushing the car as hard as I can. I'm honestly quite annoyed after Imola last time out that we didn't bring home the win, that we didn't even bring home any points, that I'm absolutely throwing the car around this Monaco street circuit, and we want to start as far forward as we can, and it's a purple second sector as well, so I am absolutely flying here, throwing the car around, being careful, but still just absolutely going for it. Still currently P5, so I think we're going to be at least P5 in this race, but we are on for a really good lap here as we boost the ERS down to turn 1 over the line, and it's pole position. We get pole position here in Monaco. I believe the first time, I don't think last time, I think season 1 we were P2 on the road. It is pole position here, back-to-back pole positions by the way, because we had pole in Imola as well, but it's pole in Monaco. That is what we need. Verstappen's in second, then it's the 2 Aston Martins, Leclerc down in 5th position, the 2 Hasses 9th and 10th. Let's see how this goes.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino that first opened in 1863. And of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of 19 corners, and don't expect to see much overtaking here today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Shaw lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Albon, Tsunoda, Perez, Ocon, Behrman, Vesti, Bottas, Stroll, Hamilton, Joe, and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
It's time for racing in Monaco from pole position. From myself, it is a very quick lights out and away we go. It's a good start though. From myself, we're already ahead into turn 1 and we've kept the lead. That is the most vital thing here in Monaco. We have kept the lead from Max Verstappen, the championship leader, into turn 1. Alonso tried getting up into second position, but Verstappen managed to hang on. We continue on here. We've just got to keep our cool on this first lap. Our pace was very good in qualifying. We were over 2/10 quicker than Verstappen in second. So we know we have good pace here. Although there is a potential of rain in this race. I've gone for a fully dry setup because there's rain perhaps right at the end of the race here, which could throw a spanner in the works, but it's going to be right at the end, so we can't really think about that at the moment. So we continue on with this first lap, still keeping a decent lead of about 0.7 of a second to Verstappen in second, as we then head through this next section, which I seem to struggle with a little bit. The AI catch up with me a little bit around here, but on the straights and out of the corners is where I seem to make my time as we head around Rasgas and around the final corner to complete this first lap. We will lead the first lap of the Monaco Grand Prix. That is big for us as we cross the line, and we just now need to try and keep this going. DRS is enabled after one lap, and we will continue on with this race. Now, the two Hasses actually ended up starting 8th and 9th because Hamilton took a grid penalty, which meant he started in P18. He's already actually down to P19 at the start of this race, so not a good start for Hamilton. But the two Hasses currently running P8 and P9, Magnussen ahead of Hülkenberg. They're going to be looking for a points finish here. Like I said, they haven't scored any points so far this season. I believe they actually now have the 6th quickest car. They've just overtaken Williams and RB for that spot, but yeah, haven't scored any points yet. So they're looking for some points here this race. At number 6, we head around, and there's a red flag. We have a red flag in Monaco. That is not good because it could potentially bring the rain forward, and it means we're going to have another start that I need to try and lead, I need to try and stay in the lead of. So as we have a look here at Oliver Behrman in the Williams, he goes for a spin around that corner as we head into the tunnel, spins the car around, makes a complete roadblock here. Just too much power around the back end, slides into the wall. Then Vesti in the Alpine clips into his front wing as well. We have a look at it from Vesti's on board. We just see Behrman spin round, and the two rookies from this season make contact with each other, and that means we are going to have a restart here once again from pole position. This time we don't get a very good start. It is a very slippery start. Verstappen gets a better start, but then he slows down. What's happening there? We've got Piastri up our inside there. What's going on? We're getting attacked all over on this restart, but we stay ahead of Oscar Piastri. As you can see, there are dots of rain. The rain has come because the red flag has, brought the race later on. The rain is here already on lap number 8. We're all on dry tyres though, so what is this going to mean for this race? But Max Verstappen has DNF'd. He has had a mechanical failure off the lights here, and he's out of this Monaco Grand Prix. He was getting passes into turn 1, so if he didn't have that failure, that would have been disastrous for us. We look at Piastri here, started P4, He got past his teammate Alonso, then got past Verstappen when he had his failure, and then tried to go for a move on us as well, and was looking at a move up the hill there, but wasn't able to do it. We just hugged the inside, stayed in the lead, but that was a bit of a tense restart for us. For the Hasses, it's not good. Both cars running in the points. They're actually 7th and 9th at this point, but then Kevin Magnussen has a disastrous mechanical failure, and that's going to mean he is out of this race. Very unlucky for Magnussen there. He is out of the Monaco Grand Prix on lap number 10. This is the same lap here where we are sliding around, struggling a little bit at this current point in time with the car. Really just struggling in these wet conditions. I don't want to be the first one to come into the pit. That's going to be Nico Hülkenberg in the other Haas. He's going to take the gamble to come onto, I believe, the intermediate tyres. Yes, that's exactly what he's going to do. Inters go on for Hülkenberg. It is a slow stop though with the rear left tyre. That's not going to help him. That's probably going to push him out of the points. So this could go from a double points finish for Haas for no points. This would be disastrous for the American team. As on lap number 11, we're going to take the plunge into the pits. Cars behind me follow in. Alonso is going to continue on, though, into the lead because he doesn't want to double stack with his teammate. We're coming on to the intermediate compound tyres. It's a pretty good stop by the team, which means we are going to retain the lead here with Piastri just behind us. So it is a decent pit stop for us. We've now just got to keep the car alive in these intermediate conditions. What is it with Monaco on the F1 games and me getting rain? Like it seems to rain more often than it doesn't in Monaco for me. So this has made me getting this win a hell of a lot more difficult as we continue on. Alonso actually, by going a lap longer, has lost out now to Lando Norris, who is up into effectively P3. So Norris has absolutely flown up the grid here. And yeah, is looking pretty good for a podium at the moment. Oliver Behrman, despite being the one that caused the red flag earlier on, is now running in P10. Behrman is in the points after causing the red flag, just behind his teammate in P9. You can see though how much these cars are sliding around. Look at them, sliding around like crazy here. Behrman currently trying to keep Ocon in the Alpine behind him, but despite causing that red flag, doing a pretty good job at the moment. You can see by lap 17 here, it is getting very wet, and we're actually pulling away from Piastri. We're 3 seconds ahead of the Aston Martin now. So we're actually doing pretty well in these intermediate conditions, but I have a big slight clip into the wall. No damage, thankfully, but I am starting to struggle a bit in these conditions. I think we're getting to the point where wet tyres could be the option, and sure enough, lap number 19, Piastri comes into the pits behind me for the wet compound, so he's going to come in a lap earlier than me. He could get an undercut on us here. You can see how much rain is bucketing down now. This is really turning into a strategy of wet, intermediate, dry tyres here in Monaco, as Piastri's gonna come out of the pits. We're gonna come in the next lap around. I mean, we have to cover off Piastri. It seems like most of the people are coming in, and I believe everybody behind me who hasn't pitted yet onto the wets will come in too. That'll be Norris behind me. So onto the wet tyres we go. We've gone from dries to inters all the way to wets now. So we're gonna come out of our pit box ahead of Norris and Alonso. But where is Piastri going to be? Has he got an undercut on us here because he's come in 1 lap earlier? Well, we're going to come out of the pits here, look at our tyres there. And no, we're well ahead of Piastri. He's actually a fair way back. And actually, it looks like he's going to lose out to Norris. So he's actually either had a slow pit stop or he's actually come in 1 lap too early for the wet compound tyres, because Norris is now up to 2nd place. He started this race in like 7th, I think. And all of a sudden, Norris is in 2nd, and now potentially hounding me, because in these wet conditions, I was doing pretty well in the intermediate conditions. But in these wet conditions, I'm struggling a little bit more. We seem to have good traction out of corners, and in this tunnel here where it's pretty much dry, we're doing pretty well. But as you can see here, lap 25, Norris is now right on the back of us and hounding us for the lead of this race. We are a good 2 seconds ahead of Piastri in 3rd, who seems to have slowed down a little bit. Russell 4th, Leclerc in 5th. Bit of a train then to Alonso also in 6th there. But Norris is now hounding us as our pace seems to be waning a little bit in these wet conditions. We're good through the tunnel. We're just using as much ERS as we can, but our traction we are struggling on traction, we're struggling on grip around corners, and at the moment, just kind of thankful that it's so difficult to overtake in Monaco. Charles Leclerc, of course, the Monegasque driver, as he comes sliding all these cars, it looks absolutely ridiculous, those cars in the wet going sliding around those corners. He's in 5th place where he started this race. Of course, in our timeline, Leclerc has not won a Monaco Grand Prix yet because I don't believe he won in Season 1, and the real 2024 Monaco Grand Prix hasn't happened in this universe, I guess you could say. So Norris still hasn't got a Monaco win, and despite him looking so good this season and last season, he still is looking like he's not going to get that Monaco win because he's in P5. As we're still trying to keep Norris behind. And now the rest of the group have actually caught up to us. There is now, you know, no gap of more than a second between me in P1 and Alonso in P6. So it is now a 6-car train at the front here, just probably showing how poor my pace is right now in these wet conditions. We were quick in the dry. We were pulling away from Piastri in the intermediate phase, but in this wet phase of the race, we're really struggling. And now as we come to the closing laps of this race, the rain is actually going away. It's pretty much gone by this point here. You can see a couple of little drops on the visor there, or on the camera, but the track's pretty much dry now, and I think DRS has actually just been enabled on lap 36 to 39, but there's no point coming in now. It's just going to be a waste to come into the pits now. So we've got to try and go to the end of this race on the wet compound tyres. And as we come onto the final lap of this race, my rear tyres especially are absolutely cooked. You can see in the bottom right there, the orange kind of symbol, and we have a look at the tyres here as we go through the final few corners. My rear tyres are on 74% wear. They are in the danger zone of getting a puncture, but we've just got to be careful around these final couple of corners. Everybody else is caught up all the way down to like P9, but we're going to round the final corner and we are going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. It has finally happened. We finally got our win here in Monaco. Let's go.
They've done it then. They've won here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for many years to come.
They led from lights out to the flag at the end, and their race victory was never in doubt, was it? Brilliant stuff by them.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium.
It is a win, our first win of Season 3. We should have won in Imola, but unfortunately the car let us down. But here in Monaco, the weather was all over the place. It went from dry to inters to wet, technically then back to dry again, but there wasn't enough laps to justify going onto the dry compound tyres. We had to nurse those tyres back to the end of the race. One more lap and we probably would have had a puncture because my rear tyres were absolutely knackered. But we brought home the win here in Monaco. I believe my first ever Monaco win on the F1 game. We bring home Lando Norris in 2nd place. Great result for him. Oscar Piastri manages 3rd. A 4th for George Russell. Leclerc 5th. Alonso 6th. Yuki Tsunoda bringing some big points home for RB in 7th. Perez manages to climb up to 8th from a disappointing qualifying. And then it's Albon P9 and Esteban Ocon bringing a point home for Alpine in P10. And once again, the Drivers' Championship standings, they've just been muddled around this entire, 4 races so far this season. Leclerc is now back into the lead of this race, 4 points ahead of Perez and Verstappen. They're both 4 points behind in 2nd and 3rd. We are back up to 4th again, now only 9 points behind Leclerc in the lead of this race, then 12 points behind Piastri and Alonso, and then a bit of a bigger gap back to Norris in 7th. So it is so close. The top 6 separated by 12 points so far this season. And in the constructors, McLaren, we are still at the front with 97 points ahead of Aston Martin, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, Alpine in 6th, then Williams, RB with now 10 points in 8th, and then Haas and Audi, aka Kick Sauber, yet to get off the mark. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.